Did you know that watercolor is my favorite type of meditation? Let me tell you more about it. My name is Katarina Kohlberg, and I'm a watercolor artist, illustrator, and a tutor. For almost 10 years, I've been creating illustrations for packaging, advertising campaigns, stationery and animation, watercolor patterns for wallpapers or textile, as well as fashion illustration and portraits with big international clients like Uplay and Fairmont Hotels, as well as large Norwegian companies like Tine, Nora and Grillstad. Painting changed my life completely. Now I see the richness in every small object. It's interesting, it's shiny, it's full of potential. I want that my art would bring this consciousness to many people. That you look on your breakfast in the morning, you think, wow, my blueberries are so fresh, they have this interesting color and texture. I never noticed it before. I think that if we notice this small thing, we are much more conscious and then we just happy. We don't need that much actually. I liked to paint and draw since I remember myself. I was born in Ukraine, in the city of Donetsk. We had quite difficult times. Society itself was somehow threatening. I never felt myself comfortable or safe. Kindergarten, which I was actually afraid to go to. All the emotional problems which my parents had, because they needed to secure our survival that time. Painting became my way out. I created my own world with vibrant colors, with beautiful princesses, flowers, birds. My safe place where I was happy. I just wanted to bring it to my life just as much as I could. I drew myself a beautiful world where I could be safe. Shortly after finishing my bachelor degree in architecture, my husband and I, we moved to Norway. And our first child was born, which was lovely, but after a few months I felt really lonely and depressed. All of my friends, they were in Ukraine, and cold autumn and winter got me. Painting became my way through it. It became a mechanism for me to deal with my everyday life. It brought the color, it brought the joy, it brought excitement to my life. Every subject that I paint, it's almost like a person, like a friend to me. And I want to paint it in the best possible way, bringing out all the peculiar features, all the colors, all the textures. When I do that, my perspective changed a lot. I started to notice small things in my everyday life, how the strawberry shines, how the leaves all have different shapes, how the sun shines through. And this way, it brought so much more richness to my ordinary life. We tend to label things and we think we know them. And then we just want more. This is why we consume. Because the old ones are not interesting anymore. Painting changed my life completely. Now I see the richness in every small object. It's interesting, it's shiny, it's full of potential, especially when it comes to painting. I want that my art would bring this consciousness to many people. I think that if we notice this small thing, we are much more conscious and then we just happy when you can notice all these beautiful details which are unique, which exist only here and now. You somehow begin to value your inner perspective, your mind which is behind that. And all the outer things, I think it starts to fall off because now you know what is really important. All you want is just that richness to shine out. I actually stopped to worry about my wrinkles at that point because I thought that it's not the most important thing. To do watercolor, you need to be present here and now. Otherwise, it just won't work. All of my illustrations are based on this analog technique where I paint and then I scan. Sometimes I do some editing in Photoshop or Procreate, but the base is always handmade. It's always this in this classical way. Painting is my favorite part of the whole process. I think watercolor is a very special medium because you have only a couple of minutes while it is still wet. I work mainly wet in wet, applying water to my paper and then I'm putting the pigment and the pigment starts to move and I'm moving it with my brush. This is a very interesting process. It's like a whole story revealing there. It's a passion, it's a drama. Sometimes it all happenings really fast. All my attention is drawn to that very process in that moment. It brings a lot of excitement. I never felt that alive. My goal is actually to capture that freshness. I always look for the great balance between realism and the freshness of the medium. Freshness in the process and freshness in the final picture. If you need my illustration services, contact me on my Instagram, Facebook or webpage. And if you want to know more about watercolor technique or what I do, just follow me on my social media and we'll stay in touch.